everyone, welcome to Chuck's Diecast Car and Model Reviews. Today we're taking a look at, well, one of the most famous Formula One cars of all time. This is the Lotus 79. This particular model is made by MCG Models, which I'd never heard of, but it is actually a pretty good model. For those of you who don't know much about the Lotus 79, it is it first of all did a couple of firsts and did a couple of lasts, okay? This was the first car to have ground effects. In other words, a Venturi tunnel under the car to basically suck it down to the road. And as such, it also is the first car to have side skirts like they had here. And in terms of lasts, this car was driven by Mario Andretti to the 1978 Formula One World Championship, which is both the last time Lotus won a World Championship and also the last time an American won a World Championship. The Lotus 79 was powered by the Ford Cosworth V8, which was sort of the go-to engine for most teams in Formula One at the time, other than Ferrari and Alfa Romeo. I believe that both had flat 12s, and I believe also Renault was just starting to develop their turbocharged cars, and that may have been around the same time as well, but I'm no expert on the history of, which engine started and which engine stopped in and around this time, because there was a lot of change going on in Formula One at this time. Let's see here. This is a very gorgeous car. That's the other thing about this car. This really is probably one of the prettiest Formula One cars ever made. It is really a great design, a great example of form follows function, and everybody loves the black John Player Special livery. I got to see this car run around the track with Mario Andretti driving it at Laguna Seca, and I've seen it a couple of other times there at Laguna as well, and it is just a gorgeous thing to see. But let's go ahead and take a look at the model itself here, okay? First of all, note that the paint on here is pretty nice. Body shops and or people who work in body and paint say that black is pretty tough to get right, and they did. It looks pretty flat, looks pretty shiny, and really it is, at this price point, a pretty nice paint job. I think I paid about, all in, about $100 for it. Detail on the wheels, again, is good. And of course, it's nice that they have the Goodyear lettering on the tires. As you can see here, the John Player Special decal is nice that it came with the model and on the model, as opposed to the model of the Lotus 98 that I got, which came with no John Player decals on it because, all the whole ban on cigarette advertising and all that sort of stuff that you have in the European Union and all that sort of stuff. So I had to actually go on eBay and buy decals for that. The detail there on Mario's helmet looks pretty good. And cockpit detail, that looks all right as well. There's not much to see in Formula One cars in terms of detail at this time. All I had was, like a tack and then a oil pressure gauge and, probably an oil temperature gauge and, probably a warning light or two, that sort of thing. Unfortunately, there is no gear shift that you can see in there. But other than that, that is nicely detailed there as well. You can look in here and you can see the radiators for the Cosworth V8. Detail here at the front is very nice. I just love that frontal aspect of this car. I've got a nice picture of that I took is just the front of this car, sort of at the angle like this, and I just love that shot. Taking a look at the underside here, you can see that they were nice enough to include the Venturis for the ground effect under here, so that's good. No branding on the bottom though. All I have is the scale and the car name there. As you can see at the back here, the dual exhaust comes out on the rear deck lid, and I imagine that's in order to allow for the Venturis to have no obstruction there, to allow clean airflow out of these Venturi tunnels out to the rear of the car to optimize downforce. The only thing that's kind of a little odd, and I guess you could say it kind of lets the model down a little bit, is that you can see the velocity stacks for the Cosworth V8 there. But instead of having screen, they have clear plastic, which is a little bit odd. So that is a little bit unfortunate, but I guess you could also say that if they had, mesh or whatever there, it would be out of scale, and would also kind of block your view of the velocity stacks there too. So I guess that is a consideration as to why they might have done that. But that is pretty much all there is to see on this model, since it is not an opening model. Again, though, it is a pretty good model, and I do like it a lot. So I can certainly recommend it. Just from appearances, it really is a nice looking model. Of course, if you did like this video, please go ahead and like and subscribe to my channel. Have a great day.